So as you kind of moved on and grew up in franchising, what kind of moment did you really start to understand? Because we were taught back then, E-Myth, work on your business in your business. But the reality is most of us were still working in our businesses. And that's okay. And that there's a time to do that. And then there's progression to get out of that and to truly work on your business. And the timeline was longer than what I thought it would be. But was there a moment when you realized that you were still working in your business and you're like, this is what I need to do to really start working on it?
Yeah, a couple things. I remember, another mutual friend. We're doing well on the shout out game today. Dan Castellini. I remember he was the top dog in Liberty at the time, and he had a lot of studios. And I remember hearing during the thick of tax season, he was leaving the office at 4 o'clock, maybe even 3 o'clock on some days.
And we're talking PM. Some of us were leaving 4 a.m.
Oh yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, I just said I was living at the office. So I remember thinking, all right, this guy's crazy. That's not possible. There's no way you can do that and effectively run your business. And that's because it was my first business. And I thought everything important that had to be done by me. Right. And that was an aha moment. Like, all right, if he's able to do it, let me try and learn. Let me try and figure out what's he's doing. Second thing is I had one of my first tax preparers actually was somebody that had been doing taxes for a while, and we, had a good rapport with each other. And that a few weeks in, probably around the same time about the Dan Castellini, figuring out how in the world is he leaving. I remember her telling me one time, she said, David, I'm going to quit the next time you come over and micromanage me when I'm doing a tax return. I'm going to walk out the door. Like, I like you, I like the job, but you got to quit being a hover boss. And it was another aha moment. And because I thought, like, why in the world do I have to, be doing everything or feel like I'm doing everything? I can trust other people to do the job well. And that's a lesson that, it's easy to get sucked into that. You put a lot of money into your business. It's, if you fail, that's a lot of pain. So you feel a confidence in yourself. But, that lesson was key. And that was an aha moment of like, okay, people are pretty good on the level. Like, people care about doing a good job for the most part. If you get the right person, if you hire for character, they're going to want to do a good job. And you just have to monitor those results and react versus shortcutting that and micromanaging. So that was another aha moment. The other one was an analogy, and I think I've probably shared this with you before. This helped me in my progression, and I'm still going through it, I think, to an extent, is, when a lot of us, when we started our first business, we were a player. So this is a sports analogy. We were the player that was doing everything. We were, running up and down the court, shooting, playing defense, scoring. The next level is a player coach, right? So, the next progression that we had was trying to step back, maybe having a manager, unit level manager, and managing them. But at the same time, you're still in your business a little bit. So you're that player coach. And that's where a lot of people get stuck. The big aha was when I started thinking there's other levels. I always thought, player coach was the place to be, best of both worlds. But you can become a coach only. You could move up to a general manager of a sports franchise where, you're a little bit further removed, and then you become the franchise owner, right? If you think about a Jerry Jones or things like that. So that analogy helped me think in a different way about scaling a business and really respecting the roles of, everybody in a business, from line level employees all the way up to the owner. And it's really interesting if you think about that. I think one of the limiting ideas I'd had in the past about that kept me from stepping away was, if folks don't see me sort of in the trenches or down with the struggle of the day-to-day, that they're not going to want to be led by them. And that's a sometimes valid concern, and you want to make sure that you're not, in the ivory tower with your feet up on the desk. But there's also a really good argument of the way to scale a business and grow and build solid teams is to respect roles and play to people's strengths. And if your strength is building the teams, leading, setting that vision, and monitoring and reacting with large sort of directional decisions and coaching your folks, then that's the best role for you as the owner. And the best role for the players is to be players.
Thanks for listening to the Franchise Secrets podcast. Links to everything can be found over at franchisesecrets.com. And if you want my help with anything from starting your own franchise to growing your current franchise business, please visit scalablefranchise.com.